It was thought through very briefly in the back of a car. Look, we were sitting outside a festival that we were headlining. There was about 70,000 people there, and there was a huge fight in the dressing room, and I sat in the back of a car and I calmed down, and my security guard said, "Are we staying or going?" And I'd been on the verge of leaving a couple of times before, and I just thought, tonight's the night. And the worst thing was leaving the people in the gig. I'd never pulled a gig on purpose in my life, but it was meant to be, you know, and I've got no regrets at all. I didn't think it was brave or stupid, it was just inevitable that it was going to happen. You know, you get to a certain point in your life, I was 42 at the time, and still really, you know, if you're in a job that's making you unhappy at that stage in your life, you just got to think, well, you know, there's no point. I mean, surely the pursuit of happiness is everybody's right, do you know what I mean? And the way that it's been rewritten by the other fella is like, you know, all I did was leave a band. That's all I did. You know, I didn't kill anybody. To some people, it's the end of the world. You know, it's the end that people will not still accept it. They've got the music and they've got the memories if they ever came to see us and all that.
Me and our kid get to the gig, I'd give him a couple of own truths about a few people that have been knocking around the band, stirring. So I told him a couple of things, and he better tell these people to stop fucking mouthing off about my band and all that, and he didn't like it. So he got his ball and he ran home and split the band up. But the reason why Noel left the band is nothing to do with an argument. You'd have to ask him when he comes in if he ever comes out of his house again. But I think Noel didn't want to be an Oasis. I think he'd had enough, you know what I mean? But he didn't have the balls to tell the fans or his band, and he just dramatised another silly argument that we had. He's made out as if it's the worst argument ever. I've had bigger arguments with my toenails, you know what I mean? So I just think it was an excuse for him to up sticks, you know what I mean? I don't think he wanted to be an Oasis anymore. That's about it, you know what I mean, really? I think he wants to go and do his own thing, which is fine. But you should have the balls, and you shouldn't go around lying saying that I intimidated him, his girlfriend, or I intimidated his children. You know what I mean? I don't intimidate women, and I'd never intimidate a child. And as for his friends, he hasn't got any, so I don't know what he's fucking on about.
I got a legal letter from his lawyers that he kindly managed to give to the Daily Mirror the day before he sent it to me. So it was on the front page of the newspapers, and if you can believe this, he was going to sue me for libel, for ruining his character. Something like slander, whatever, I don't know what the legal term is.
I haven't seen him, you know what I mean? We weren't really speaking that much anyway while the tour was going on, so he'd go and do his thing, I'd do my thing, you know what I mean? And he'd sort of get off after the gig, or I'd get off after the gig, so if I didn't have much to say to him when we were on tour, I've certainly got caught to say to him these days, you know what I mean? So we don't see each other, which is sad, but that's life. Only, you know, time might, you know, in a couple of years we might grow up, you know, and speak to each other. But at the moment, we're still very childish, you know what I mean?
He's going to have to call me. He's going to have to get somebody to call me, because he's been going on about it for the last 10 or whatever it is, and you know, he doesn't want it, and he knows he knows that neither of us particularly are fucking interested in it. I know he doesn't want it. I'm very comfortable with what I'm doing. I couldn't give a flying one way or the other. But you know, when he keeps going on about it, and I'm like, okay, well, call us then. Let's see what you've got to say. You know, you've made up all these imaginary ground rules down the years and told kids it's happening now, it's coming, it's definitely happening, blah, blah, blah. I dare him. I fucking dare you to call me. I dare you to call me. And you won't call me, because if you do call me and I go, actually, that's a good idea. Actually, that might work. Then the arse falls out of his trousers, because then you've got to be in the same room as me. And then we both know how that ends up. So you call me. Stop tweeting. You're bigger than that. You're better than that.
That's what I do, you know what I mean? I've been doing it for years, you know what I mean, for 20 years or whatever. And I love making music, and I love being in a band or whatever it is, and it's the only thing I can do. So I'm working with some really good like songwriters, you know what I mean? So they do all the hard bits. I sort of just jib in at the end and sort of just make it happen, you know what I mean? But There was only one time that I had a bit of a, when I sort of thought, well, after BDI, when we knocked that on the head, it was like I had 4 years of having to get some personal stuff sorted out. And I was thinking, you know what, I haven't got a band. This is the first time in like 20 years I didn't have a band. And I didn't have people to go and write songs with or whatever. So that was the first I was thinking, how am I going to get back in the ring and that, you know what I mean? Do I start a band again? Do I go under another name? And I thought, there's no point starting a band again and going under another name, because we did that with BDI and it sort of didn't work. So I thought the next best thing, I'm always going to be the guy in Oasis. So the next, obviously Oasis weren't happening, or isn't happening. So the next best thing is to just go under my own name. So that was easy, you know what I mean? But no, I did miss it. I just didn't want to do it for a bit. I just thought I need to get some personal stuff sorted out. But I knew once I got all that out of the way, I'd be back. I'd be back doing it.
When I do 5 Oasis songs in my set, and the entire front bit that you can see is all under 20 years of age, all of them, boys and girls, mostly girls I have to say, which is another marvellous trick I've managed to put. And I do Champagne Supernova with the choir, and it's like a hymn. And all of a sudden, everyone's on everybody's shoulders. Not one of these people, lads with their tops off, singing it like it's the greatest thing, were even born when it was written. And somehow they've taken it and they're singing it like crying, do you know what I mean? Like it's a football anthem. And that's an amazing thing, and I'm kind of stood on there playing it. Part of me's thinking, I initially start thinking, what is this song about? What is it about? I have no idea what this song is. And, you know, because you're on autopilot sometimes. And I'm sat playing Champagne Supernova thinking, what is this song about? And then you kind of glance up and you see this and you think, well, that's what it's about. It's not about the words or the melody.
Easy, man. I'm a good dad, man. They're all good, man. It's not all just to do with me. Their mums are good as well, but I think I've got a good relationship with my kids, man. We have a good laugh, and if they, you know, if you step out of line, I'll sort of pull them back in, but I let them get on with, you know, you've got to make your own mistakes, you've got to do your own thing, you've got to walk your own path and that, but you know, I think the kids respect me and I respect them, so we just leave it at that, innit? You teach, you know, you try and teach them, like, you know, to be, I think they're polite kids and that, you know what I mean? I'm sure they'll look when I'm not there and all that, and they're out with their mates, thinking of 10 men and that, but deep down I can tell them, you know, I can tell whether they're slipping away and that, or they're acting a bit dodgy and that, but that's what I work for, you work for, you know. I couldn't be one of them people where I'm going, right, you can only have, you know, what I've got, what's mine is theirs, you know what I mean?
I haven't got jaded with it yet. I mean, maybe it's because I've got my own tour bus and I'm kind of, I got fucking huge travelling hotels. No, I mean, tours are what you make them, do you know what I mean? I mean, look, I've been on tours in a band where it's been dreadful, you know, where it's just the tension and kind of like the conflicting egos in a band can make things tricky, which is why people eventually start going solo, because they're like, oh, those guys, you know what I mean? I'm doing it my own way now. So the way I do it now, it's very clean and serene. No, I like to do things at my own pace, and I like the routine of it all. I like the sound checking at the same time and eating the same things on the same day. I never get bored of it. I kind of, my character is, the way my character is, I'm in need of routine. If everything's all loose and up, I can't get this.
It's hard, man. I don't think there is one. I don't think it's been written yet. But there's plenty of good tunes, man. Never mind, you know, Never Mind the Bollocks is a great album by the Pistols. I like that. Anything by the Beatles, man.